I've been ranting. What other notes? Okay.
I don't know. What do you make of the state of the world right now? The state of the... God,
Okay.
what's your take on everything?
On what?
On everything. Just the fucking madness that's going on. All right, we'll talk about COVID first.
COVID. Well, back to the madness.
All right, we got madness first.
I'll write that down, the madness.
Madness. Because that's what's going on right now. It's madness.
Well, that's what me and Andy were talking about. You were there. Talking about the polarity. Essentially, it's a sincere, like, theory. And, like, something's going on. Like, did I post that today? I don't know if you read Facebook much, but I did. There's a couple people I argue with. They're fun. And this guy, Jed, I want him to come here. And he's like kind of an avowed leftist, anarchist kind of type. It was like 2 years ago was always like, I want to burn it all down.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, kind of like it's a fun thing to do. Now it's happening. Anyway.
Is he still all like burn it all down, or is he like quieted down?
Well, just today, I don't remember what the fucking video was even linked, but he was like, I have the suspicion, that's what he was. I don't want to feel like a conspiracy theorist, but I feel like the media is telling us things, be it CNN, Fox, whatever, to scare us in order to manipulate us. You know, it's kind of the biggest Captain Obvious, like I want to be like, no shit.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
And I literally almost wrote, thanks Captain Obvious, which is funny because he's an actual sea captain. But I didn't want to sound like a dick. But anything I could say made it sound like a dick. Any response I truly wanted to say, like, thanks Captain. And then I was like, just wanted to, you know, that's the thing about Facebook, you can like say something and you regret it. I'm like, just don't say anything. And I didn't have any ill intentions anyway. But yes, like, and that was my response, or that's what he was responding to me, having said, like, it's like, I don't know, I think it's a deeper fucking, well, that's what he saw. Oh, that's what it was. It was a video of the dude saying something about Satan praying that the evil's coming, basically, and we gotta get our shit together, with the Jesus religious tone, right? And his question was like, I can't believe people are still afraid of Satan. And I was like, well, I don't think it's necessarily Satan, but it's the perceived evil. There's two paradigms that are become apparent, and each of them thinks the other one's Satan. Like, the people riding the streets have all the intentions of the world. That's the most amazing thing. And I truly believe them. They think they're fighting, you know, Trump is like Hitler to them.
They literally feel they're fighting fascists.
Yes,
like,
they literally think they're doing the best thing ever. And they might be in their world. So imagine there is two worlds. Like, you know, talking about parallel dimensions and Mandela shit, like, that's where I think it's happening in the fucking real world. And it's almost like there's individuals, and that's, I should almost draw a picture, but, you know, it's like two lobes. But there's the individual. Say I've got a lobe in my head of being happy or being angry. And you're happy, and all these people have this swaying balance of whether they're happy or not.
Yep.
Whatever these two things are. And not just finding good or bad, it's just two things. It's polarity, opposites, whatever they might be. And it's like coming out in the politics. And then as it gets to the massive, the hologram effect, hive mind effect happens. You know, like ants, humans are like ants essentially. And they're like blah, 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 and then, so that is happening in the big population, right? But where's that original? Then you backtrack. Why is this polarity coming from? Then you're like polar shift or solar flares. You know, some big random unknown thing. Which reminds me of like how I want to do a podcast with this other guy. I know those random people, and he's like a librarian at school. But he got me all these sci-fi books. You ever read sci-fi?
A little bit. Not a huge sci-fi fan.
I'm not either. But I read these last few sci-fi books. Sci-fi. And they were really fascinating.
Okay.
So epically, and the point is I want to talk to him about, I'll talk to you about it right now, as I thought was just how sci-fi writers basically, take their contemporary archetypical human things,
mm-hmm.
and put them into a thesis of what's this world going to be, then how's it going to be? You know, it's like scientific predictions on a model, to put it like in that term. And a lot of those guys are in those terms. They are scientific minded. That's why I call it sci-fi, fucking science. But the last ones I read, I read Dune, Seven Eves, Three Body Problem, because I read them all in a row like last winter.
Oh, yeah.
I got one, I was like, that was fucking cool. Like, am I a sci-fi fan? Then out of the sci-fi books, I was inspired to make paintings of, so I made some paintings of like the visions from the books, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because I was looking for fucking paint ideas. And they're all, those 70s was fucking crazy.
Yeah, I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I don't know.
Well, 70s, I'll tell you about it.
Please do. Please do.
It's a book like this thick, and
See, I can't get through those fucking massive books. I get bored with them.
Well, it's like it covers like 5,000 years of human history.
Yeah, that's
it's
just
like,
a lot.
Yeah, and it's one of those where it changes from one whole group of characters. They're like, oh wait, they're all dead, but a bunch of new characters and a whole new scene. But the gist of it is, it's fun to think about, is like there's Earth, and then one day they call it the event or something. Something hit the moon, and the moon went blew up.
Oh,
in the fucking seven chunks or 9 chunks, and it was up there, and everyone, the entire world is like, holy shit, what happened up there? No one knew. All they could tell is they think some little like neutron star came flying through the galaxy and just blew it up.
Fucked it up.
No one knew. Fucker's floating up there, and for like a year, it's floating up there. But then the scientists, they're like, okay, you know, right when it first happened, the whole world's like, holy shit, like everyone's kind of like, what the fuck?
Freaking fuck. Yeah. Moon fucking exploded.
So then the scientists start being like, oh, wait a minute, this is bad, because there's like the physics of the chunks. Over time, they're going to end up floating around enough, they're going to eventually all run into each other and start breaking apart. One chunk here, one chunk there. And every chunk will then keep hitting each other, and there'll be a critical mass thing where they all go boom, 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 and all the accelerating physics of it all will, then they'll blow down all the fucking particle dust, and the dust will then fall out of the sky, and as it's all falling to the sky, it's going to fucking superheat and burn the earth for 1,000 years.
Is that what happened? Is that what
Yes.
happening? Yeah.
That's what happened.
So it's like everyone dies and then it's like
Well, except for the people who fucking escaped to space and the people who escaped to the bottom of the ocean.
Okay.
So the whole book is following the people that escaped to the space, and it follows them for 5,000 years. The first days that, you know, it's going through the whole thing, like leading up to it, like people hanging out on Earth, like, oh, the fucking thing's happening soon, and everyone like, it's all beautiful. Then when it happens, they said it would be a bunch of shooting stars, and the whole world's like, oh, this is cool here. You know, and then it got back. You know, obviously it'll fucking burn down. So there's the people like are on the space station, like talking to their friend. You know, you can imagine the drama that's playing out. So boom, they're in space now. Boom, the last contact from Earth. Earth's done, and it's like jeez, floating. They can see it's like surrounded in like a dust ball or whatever, and it's like blasting with lightning and fire. And they're like, oh fuck. So boom, it follows them now. What are we gonna do now? And the whole, it's super scientific. The guy who wrote it's an actual science dude, physicist, who did something, a smart person, but it's super fascinating because it was all about, it got into all about like space trajectory stuff on like, you need X amount of fuel to get you going certain speed, you know, but the fuel weighs a certain amount and you weigh a certain amount to go a certain distance, but you're going that speed, you now need that amount of fuel to stop that same amount, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's all fuel weight to distance stuff, and then using the gravity of this to push you to gravity that, and it goes on for fucking pages and pages. And,
see, I love the concept. That sounds badass. I can't get through.
Yeah, I know, and I don't read much either. But then I just did. I just got into a role last year. I was like, I'm gonna read these fucking books. Anyway, so 70s. Okay, I'll just tell the whole story. It fucking devolves to fucking space to where boom, there was 7 chicks left. Everyone fucking died, down to where like we're the last people on Earth for whatever reason. It was them. They're on Earth, fucking space station, and they had all. It was just norm. They all saved all their eggs, and fucking million eggs each or whatever. How the fuck they save eggs? How do they save eggs? Like pull them out? I don't know.
Oh, like their eggs?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Fuck yeah! I don't know.
And there were 7 of these chicks, and they save them. So then they got, that was the whole plan of the thing. They get to a giant fucking asteroid, and they locked their fucking unit to it, and they were able to mine it, and made a new civilization on the asteroid. Then they went back. As they're doing that, then they migrated all the way around. So the Earth, over 5,000 years, became a huge ultra space ring city civilization out of those 7 chicks. And they all became a race of 7 races out of the 7 chicks.
That's
chicks, I shouldn't call them chicks, women, females.
Yeah, this is 2020. Fuck. White privilege.
So it's a fascinating concept. And you're at this point, and you're like, this type of person, and all the names, there's like Moirins, I don't remember the names, I remember Moira, whatever, Ivies, each name of the females was the name of the race.
Interesting.
Is it morphed out? And like, as you read the descriptions, you realize some of them were black, some were mixed, some were white, as it came out, like, you're like, oh, okay, but they're renamed in a whole 5,000 years later, right?
That's true.
Talking about all this fucking racist stuff. And then there was conflict, and there was a fucking left, right, red, blue, blah, 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 bullshit. And then, they're terraforming back to Earth. They're like, we're going back to Earth now. You know, so they're going through stories of like, generations, like 5,000 years. Hey, we're going back to Earth now. So the girl's job was to fly a terraflyer thing. She'd fly down to Earth and look around and be like, this is fucking cool down here. Like, I fucking heard about this place for 5,000 years. And they had been seed bombing it with shit, so they had planned ahead, had all these seed bombs, so they would, like, drop seeds on this mountain, and they had to wait for the fucking seeds to grow, wait for the fucking birds, right?
Yeah,
to know that they could go back or whatever. So they go back, and she sees a fucking random, they call them indigenous. The fucking dudes, there were still people on Earth, and they weren't quite sure it was a myth that these people were still on Earth, because everyone's like, no, they're all dead.
No one survived, yeah.
And they get there, they turn out, there was people that were there, and the 2 groups that had survived on Earth where the first group, they found him in Alaska in the Brooks Range. The dude was like a super crazy billionaire miner. I don't know if he's a billionaire. He's a rich fucking dude in Alaska who knew about it, and for his 2 years, he owned a huge mining operation in the Brooks Range. That's what it was. And he was like, "Fuck all y'all." And he just started digging fucking tunnels for 2 years because he knew the fucking shit was happening. Just the massive bunker prep, right? And and it was him and his family and like however many people I don't remember. And it goes all his logistics. We're going into the earth for this long. We don't know how long. What's happening? Da 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 da. Douche. They close the hatch. Kadoosh. They're in the fucking caves for 2,000 years or 1,000 years. And so it's their story as they come out and they're fucking walking around and they kept seeing these fuckers up in the sky. And they're like, what the fuck are those guys? Then they figure out, then there's the whole people who've been living under the ocean. They were like military submarine, and then how they had actually evolved into being like fucking swimming fish fucking people. But anyway, that was 7 Eves.
God damn. That's quite the
Covers a lot of ground.
Yeah, just a little bit. Jesus. That was sick.
So 7 Eves. What was the other? Oh, 3-body problem. I haven't even gotten into that one. Yeah, it's cold. It's cold in here.
Turn the heat back up.
It's high.
Oh shit.
I think the thermostat might be funky.
It's blinking.
Oh, it's blinking. But that's why sci-fi is interesting, because you can apply it back to real life.
Yeah.
Speaking of real life,